Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the ReCoop. I am Cooper Daniels, Scooper Scamules, Copper, whatever you want to call me. It's up to the Copperheads, the Cooper Troopers. What's going on, folks? It's all chaos. Today marks the third week completed of the ReCoop Live. It's been a very interesting ride, folks, and it just seems to be getting it more interesting. Isn't that fun? Isn't interesting fun, everybody? I mean, who likes boring when the entire financial sector could just be on the verge of collapse? I'm just kidding. It's not that doom and gloom, but it's also not that good. It's not that good. I've got some important stuff to talk about to the Algorand community. There was a proposal from Borderless Capital, and then there was a double down by GARD. And we're definitely going to work through that. And that's going to be the bulk of this show. I know it's going to take time, and I want to engage with the chat room where, these guys have been so engaged all these last 3 weeks, and they are literally fueling this thing and helping me grow it. And I really appreciate you guys. If you've been around since the beginning of this 3 weeks ago, I full-heartedly appreciate you. And no matter what God you worship, I would like to thank them that it's Friday. Jesus. All right. Well, folks, let's just dive in. Let's just look at CoinMarketCap and a couple of things. Let's check the news. I know that job numbers came up hotter than expected, and that bodes very poorly for the financial markets, but potentially, it's still good. People have money and are employed, but that probably puts a lot of pressure on the Fed to raise interest rates higher long-term and potentially go back up to 50 basis points at the next Fed meeting, which will obviously be very, very bad for the markets. I can't imagine today's going to be a good day. You know what I mean? No starting the day with Ice Cube today, folks. Ice Cube is not the song that we're starting today with. I wish I could just click over to YouTube and we could all watch Ice Cube right now. All right, folks, let's share the screen. And let's go to CoinMarketCap, and let's just see what's going on. I haven't actually looked at the markets. I know I know what I'm about to see, folks. All right, but let's just do this. Let's do this, and let's go here. All right, folks. I think that was the good old days. I need a refresh from yesterday. Okay, well, you know what? I was expecting to see that Bitcoin had sunk behind underneath 20%. But it looks like the last hour, inexplicably, it's showing a little green. But yeah, it's right at 20,000. This is not the end. This is just a psychological. Look, not financial advice at all, folks. You know that. This goes up or this goes down. None of that nothing I say matters. But 20,000 per Bitcoin. Everybody I read that talked about this, that knows more about charts, said when 21.5 breaks, which it broke like it was nothing, 18 is really the next 18.5. I don't know. 18 is the next level of support. And I don't know. With everything that we're seeing, we have the U.S. government shipping 40,000, I think it was, Bitcoin to Coinbase. They're clearly creating fear in this market. And I have a feeling that Goblin Town, I guess a lot of people like to call it, is near. And then you just go down, Litecoin's down 20% over the last week. Bitcoin's friend, Bitcoin's little copycat friend. Yep, Monero's down. Where are we at? What are the ones we're interested in? We're interested in Hedera is struggling. Obviously, we're going to move over to that real quick, and I'll cover that quickly because we talked about it last night. Near is definitely struggling at 177. And Algorand is barely holding on to 19 cents. So I would like to congratulate all the shorts on a job well done. And that's not just Algorand, that's the entire market. All right. So quickly, we'll just look at Vestige. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Still doesn't look good over here either. It's, similar numbers, different background. ASAs, they move with algo, folks. Opulus, the head of Opulus, is not happy these days. Looks like they have had a recent pump, and then look at those guys. Those guys are working on it. They're working on their platform. And they've got a guy that is helping them market make. All right, that's that. We'll go to CNBC real quick. Yeah, this Silicon Valley bank is in trouble. Futures are up. Okay, maybe I misread the news. I didn't actually look into it, but now the news is S&P 500 futures rise after jobs report hints at slowing inflation, yields decline. Yeah, this was 4 recently. So apparently there's something good to be. Are you guys seeing this? Yeah, you are. There's something good happening in this jobs report. Treasury yield, okay. February payrolls increased by 311,000, more than expected, but investors focus on the smaller than expected gain in wages in the report, which could cause the Federal Reserve to rethink getting more aggressive on rate hikes. Okay, so what I said earlier is not the narrative they're running with. Average hourly earnings increased by 0.24%. Okay, I mean, this is just, I don't care. It's all a mess. Still, this is trying to help the whatever. Let's look at that Silicon Valley. I think there was breaking news. What is going on here? Nobody wants. Okay, Women in Wealth. There is this event happening on April 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Get off of my screen. Okay. Okay. So futures are getting happier. This is breaking news. Before I talk about old news, Silicon Valley Bank Financial in talks to sell itself after attempts to raise capital have failed. You may have noticed. Let's read it. SVB Financial, parent of Silicon Valley Bank, is in talks to sell itself. Attempts by the bank to raise capital have failed, the sources said. Large financial institutions are looking at a potential purchase of SVB. Shares of the bank fell 60% on Thursday after SVB announced a plan Wednesday evening to raise more than $2 billion in capital. The stock fell another 60% in pre-market trading Friday. This is breaking news. We had yesterday Peter Thiel, the Thiel Fund. Venture firm advises companies to pull money from SVB. I wonder if when they told Elizabeth Warren about Silicon Valley Bank potentially becoming insolvent, did she just look at the sky and scream, crypto? And then they were like, no, this has nothing to do with crypto. This is just how crappy traditional banks are too, Elizabeth. And she goes, okay, well, let's craft a bailout. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't mean to pick on just her. There's plenty of senators that agree with her. But anyways, so there is that. Okay, so yeah, they're just advising. The Thiel Fund is creating a bit of a bank run there. Good old-fashioned banky runny, folks. We saw that at Silvergate, the evil traditional bank that dealt in crypto, but this really affects VCs, folks. So we can expect Capitol Hill, if that little thing that is floating to private investors doesn't work out, we'll get Bill Ackman. He also had a suggestion, a little suggestion. Bill Ackman says U.S. should mull an SVB bailout as a possible option. Look at him, the SPAC king himself, folks. That is the face of wrecking retail right there. Hello, Bill. Let's talk about bailing out some banks, sir. The U.S. government should consider a highly dilutive bailout of SVB Financial Group if a private capital solution can't be provided, according to Pershing Square founder Bill Ackman. The failure of SVB Financial could destroy an important long-term driver of the economy as VC-backed companies rely on SVB for loans and holding their operating cash. If private capital can't provide a solution, a highly dilutive government-preferred bailout should be considered. I mean, this is just a clown show. 100% a clown show. Heard it here first, folks. I obviously seen this is bullish for the crypto. I mean, they're trying to paint the crypto industry in such a negative light. And for so many reasons, they're right. But if you want to equivocate, let's just look at the traditional banking industry as well. All right, folks. All right, real quick before we move on to some of this Algorand stuff, let's look at let's talk about Hedera for a second. Follow up from yesterday on Hedera. Okay, oh man, this didn't age well. March 8th, 5 billion mainnet transactions, real applications, real world utility. Are you watching? We are witnessing DLT adoption on an unprecedented scale. Folks, this is only the beginning. Next tweet. Today, attackers exploited the smart contract service code of the Hedera mainnet to transfer Hedera tokens. Okay, sorry guys, I have a cold. It's early. Apparently, I can't read. Let me just take a sip of copy. Let me take a sip of copy, and we'll keep going. This is going great, folks. Today, attackers exploited the smart contract service code of the Hedera mainnet to transfer Hedera token service tokens held by victims' accounts to their own account. The attacker targeted accounts used as liquidity pools on multiple DEXs that use Uniswap v2 derived contract code ported over to use the Hedera token service, including Pangolin, SaucerSwap, and Heliswap. When the attackers moved tokens obtained through these attacks over the Hashport network bridge, the bridge operators detected the activity and took swift action to disable it. The Hedera community, including all of these, Swirled Labs, which used to have a patent on the Hedera tech and gets paid monthly, and it's weird, but I think that's changed. Who knows? Not the time to talk about it or to rub anything into anybody's faces. And Heliswap teams worked together to investigate the attack. To prevent the attacker from being able to steal more tokens, Hedera turned off mainnet proxies. Hello, government. We are centralized, which removed user access to the mainnet. The team has identified the root cause of the issue and are working on a solution. Once the solution is ready, Hedera Council members will sign transactions to approve the deployment of updated code on mainnet to remove this vulnerability, at which point the mainnet proxies will be turned back on, allowing normal activity to resume. So I hope none of my listeners were affected by this. It seems that they have quickly turned off the network, so no more activity can go down. But that is bad news for Hedera. It does not serve the necessary narrative in this current climate. Folks, decentralization. All right. Let's just go back to Restream. There we go. All right, guys. How are we doing? Thanks for joining me. Algorand land. Algo fam. Algonauts. What else we got? First, before I dive into the Borderless capital situation, I want to propose something. My heart certainly goes out to all the victims and, in particular, some of the smaller victims of this hack. Some of you may know I have a V1 of, I have an NFT, a small mint NFT collection called the Coops. And it was a fun thing that I did with Bank on Algorand. It was a meme turned into an NFT project. It all kind of steamed out of control, but in essence, what that was a donation, vehicle for St. Jude's cancer research for children, something that I very much believe in. And so Crypto for Change actually reached out to me yesterday, and he had some ideas. He was like, well, why? Maybe we should do like Cooper Troopers NFT thing, or, I don't know, or Copperheads or whatever it is, and potentially help some people. So I have a proposal. I do not have a plan, but my idea, which is very loose and can be adjusted as we go, but I'm thinking, look, V1 Coops was perfect for the beginning of my show. That was exactly what I did. When I started photoshopping that stupid picture on thumbnails, I started to find a little traction in the show. So obviously it was so small, but that was truly the beginning of my show, was that. And it represents the beginning. And I believe that I'm on to a second stage of my show with this live, and the Cooper Troopers or the Copperheads or whatever is very timely for the V2 of Coops. And like the first version, I want it to be completely donation based, but this time 100%. So the idea is that if I can find an NFT artist in the Algorand community, an Algorand native NFT artist that wants to help create a Cooper Trooper or a Copperhead or whatever, creative, they're going to be the creator, and maybe we can vote on traits. I don't know. There's a lot of different things we can talk about, but I would want all of the proceeds to go to that NFT artist, that Algorand NFT artist, and the victims, and preferably the smaller victims. Now, obviously, this is a changing thing. We don't know if they're going to catch this guy and be able to get the money back. We don't know a lot of different things. And if this takes a while and everybody gets their money back, then we'll pivot, and it'll be a donation to something else that we believe in, maybe a organization that fights for decentralization in the crypto industry or something, or maybe whatever the community wants to vote on, or however it is, it doesn't matter. And then if for some reason smaller wallets get some money from this, and then they get whole again, I don't care. They just won. You know what? They went through a lot, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, it's an idea. My heart goes out to all of the victims. And if it's possible, and if there's interest from an NFT artist to collab on this, I would certainly want them to be paid. And everything else would go to victims of the MyAlgo hack. All right, cool. Or whatever the MyAlgo thing is. Exploit for sure. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's read some things, and then I'll give you some thoughts. All right. Got a runny nose. Oh, boy. Okay. Borderless Capital. Borderless Capital. I did an episode on Wednesday where I referenced a lawsuit that David Garcia of Borderless Capital, Pablo Yabo of MyAlgo, and Rand Labs and Borderless Capital are being sued by a former partner of Pablo Yabo for $10 million. And the lawsuit claims that his company with Pablo Yabo, Coin Fabric, got the deal with Algorand and built the MyAlgo wallet together, the Algo Explorer together, and then Rand Labs, which was newly formed with David Garcia from Borderless Capital, Michel Dada, and Pablo Yabo, jilted him and basically stole the Algorand contract from him, which was a lucrative deal. Okay. I think it's important to be clear that Algorand Inc., Algorand Foundation, and in fact, Michel Dada are not named in all the documents as a defendant that I have seen. So I want you to remember that as we read through this. Borderless Capital is indeed Rand Labs, okay, the creator of MyAlgo wallet. Borderless. We would like to share with the Algorand community a thread on the recent MyAlgo security incident and our thoughts to support the victims during this challenging time. As key participants in the Algorand you guys are seeing this, right? Yeah, okay, good. As key participants in the Algorand ecosystem, we feel truly sorry for all the victims of this unfortunate event, and we understand the need for our ecosystem champions to step up and show support to the entire community at this moment. First and foremost, if you have not already done so, now is the time to rekey or move the assets to a new Para wallet or DeFi wallet. Some of our portfolio companies were significantly impacted by the loss incurred in this hack. As our VC partners, we are working to do our best to provide investment support to mitigate the impact so that they can recover and continue to operate in the ecosystem. This is one of the biggest challenges we've faced in the Algorand ecosystem, and it will require a coordinated effort to make sure that we can together bring light to these dark times and move forward towards our future with the least possible negative impact. As a member of the Algorand Foundation Governance Advisory Committee, we would like to propose the creation of a 50 million Algo recovery fund, anchored with the treasury of the Algo Foundation and open to contributions from third parties, including other ecosystem investors. In light of unprecedented community urgency, we suggest it should be included as a third measure to be voted on before the end of the current governance period of Q1 2023. If the community votes in favor and approves the creation of the recovery fund, Borderless will contribute 2.5 million Algo on top of that amount that the governance community deems appropriate to be used from the Algorand Foundation treasury. Sorry, guys, Jesus. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get to 7 o'clock. Due to the total losses and an effort to make all victims whole, we propose that the current Algorand blockchain Algo fees that are now going to the Algorand Foundation treasury wallet should be allocated to this recovery fund until the community is fully restituted. I don't mind that. As it relates to the intricacies of restitution through the recovery fund, we are extremely eager to help the Algo Foundation, along with other major ecosystem participants, to quickly develop a process and work alongside third parties to have an orderly distribution of funds. We hope this initiative will be supported by the broader community of Algorand users, builders, node runners, investors, and all other participants. And together, we will come out of this incident stronger than ever. I'll dive back into this. We got John Mazzoni from NF Domains had a take, and I want to read that as well. But let's just go over GARD. Riley, the founder of GARD, had her opinion about this as well. Her opinion was, well, she talked about this. That's fine. Her opinion was this. Personally, I believe the foundation should take this similar action without a vote to help projects that have been affected. Without strong leadership and support from Algo Foundation, many projects won't survive. Sounds like capitalism. Communities and vital primitives will die. Network effects erased. Well, I said it with Hedera. This is essentially this idea right there. Just off the bat, I'll give you a little opinion. And I'm sure this is not a unique opinion, but it's certainly my opinion. This, in essence, would be Algorand calling the SEC and being like, hey, SEC, Algorand here. We'd like to capitulate. You were right. Along with the Bitcoin maxis, we are a centralized shitcoin. If this happened, I don't know, guys. So anyways, don't support that. I don't support that. But, she has been affected personally by this and needs her exit liquidity, my opinion. I think this opinion actually should disqualify her from being on the governance advisory committee, actually. This shows a complete lack of respect for the governance process and is blinded by her own thing, It's early. Words are hard. Thank you. Okay. Natalie Salamink, another affected protocol in the Algorand ecosystem, another, I'm sure, Borderless funded protocol. And by the way, a few episodes ago, I was scrolling and I couldn't find it, and I made an off the cuff suggestion that maybe she had blocked me, and she in fact has not blocked me. And we have had nice conversations in the background. So that did not happen. That was not true. Natalie says, if the fire department puts out the fire in your house, it sets the precedent that everyone else's fire will be put out. Yeah, that's the problem. And that is exactly the point. Oh, it's not the problem. Okay, why? To set the can you guys see this? Yeah. To set the precedent that there is some minimum bar of safety where keeping your secret keys private and using only the most trusted desktop wallet is enough for a regular person not to fear that they may lose everything and will be left to dry. The assertion that asset recovery in one case implies asset recovery in all cases, in all circumstances, at all times for everyone is so simplistic as to be borderline bad faith and completely undermines the most basic responsibilities of the foundation: to act as a filter for such decisions, accounting for all relevant factors and take the necessary steps to do what's best for the ecosystem. This argument never even gets us to talking about the context. It conveniently pretends factors and circumstances don't exist and concludes that any decision taken today must be taken forever and always in the future. Bailouts are a tricky thing and are not always the correct move in all situations. To arrive at a decision, we must talk about the circumstances. We cannot shout precedent and leave the house burning. We must talk about all aspects of the precedent we're sending. Should you stuff your money under a mattress in case of a bank run? Well, in the case of Silicon Valley Bank, yes. This is also a precedent that can be set and must be weighed against the precedent set by ensuring retail bank accounts. But we cannot discuss any trade-offs and what precedents are set if the discussion is closed by a refusal to acknowledge that context matters for decisions made both today and in the future. And Gabe says, a fire department needs tax revenue to operate. Should the foundation start taxing us? In effect, a bailout fund would be a tax, Gabe. So maybe you're making her point. All right. Let's go back to the borderless thing. Well, okay, I'll get back to this. No, let's just go. Let's just work through this. So there's some important things here, folks. It's hard not to look at this, and I'm sorry to say this. You know, I've met a lot of people. I like a lot of people, and it's just, man, what a thing it was to decide to do this show daily. But look, this is obviously not a Algorand community recovery fund. This is a borderless capital recovery fund. And so many things have zoomed. I mean, they say it in this. So many of their portfolio companies were significantly impacted by the loss. Their portfolio companies, and by the way, their company, Rand Labs, potentially could be under a microscope. For, people could be upset. We got to make these people whole because they might sue. And then this is the deal. And this makes so much sense on why I see in the background people doing Olympic style gymnastics to not blame my algo and to put the blame on the Algorand Foundation, because they're funding, folks. They're backing. It's painfully obvious. And then if you add in this ongoing lawsuit, it just makes it like, what is happening? The idea that we would rush this into this governance period, which we are in right now, before this has even been resolved, is so reckless and clearly protecting themselves. Honestly, reading all this makes me feel sorry for the Algorand Foundation. they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Borderless is an integral part from the very beginning of Algorand. Borderless helped create my algo and Algo Explorer. They're also much of the liquidity in our ecosystem. So I don't know. And can we this immediately vote on things? Has anybody been paying attention to how recovery funds happen and work in crypto? Like, this doesn't need to happen tomorrow. Sorry. I'm sorry for people that want their liquidity back immediately, but you've been violated and hacked, and that's a problem. In most cases, there's a process, and it can be a very long process. So to rush into it is irresponsible at best. Okay. We could think of plenty of plans. And if you ask me at this point, any plan should start from the bottom up, because the only thing that I really see could be helpful to the Algorand community, if the Algorand Foundation indeed was operating from, we want to help the community. These people that were largely affected, these protocols, they're gone. Assume they're gone. I don't know that they're gone. I can't say that at all because I don't have any information that they are, but we should assume that they're gone. What we want to do is support the community, not just for, reasons of community building or whatever, but because they are the everyday people that believed in Sylvia McCauley, the tech, and the ideals of Algorand, and they got burned. So look, I love the idea. I would, before any of this stuff I just read, I would support doubling the transaction fee if that was possible, using that wallet to do a bottom-up approach where you started from the lowest and you just built up, 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 and then as that wallet until people were made whole, and then maybe Borderless could donate that $2.5 million to that wallet, and then we would just climb up the chain and make people whole over a long period of time. It's not that the Algorand transaction fee wallet is that huge. I believe, look, I actually think I have it here. Let's see. Pretty sure this is the wallet, and there's about 1.3 million algo in there, which is a start. If you added the Borderless 2.5 million, that would be 4 million. That would make a lot of people whole again. 4 million algo would make a lot of people whole again. Don't hate that idea. I don't even know if it's, and then also the foundation floated them working diligently on the tech in order to make sure that people that moved out of governance to protect their assets, that they can still participate in governance, vote, and earn that yield. But here, this is what I was talking about. I think this is the transaction fee wallet. Or maybe there's another one. Or this is the last. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. But I think it is. Kind of scared to look at this chat box after all that. I don't know, man. This is a critical time. It's some of these proposals, certainly the GARD proposal, if that were to be enacted, it could potentially shake my faith in this. It seems like total capitulation, and it almost, talk about Natalie's bad faith. It almost reeks of bad faith to me, but I'm not saying it is. Honestly, with all of the information that's known, how deeply entwined Borderless Capital is with Rand Labs, with a lot of the protocols affected, it would be my suggestion that they actually can't even propose a vote. I don't think it's fair. Guys, if this matters at all, if what we're doing here, why are we even here? If we're going to just admit that Like Hedera, you can shut it off. Like Solana, you can shut it off. Thank God that we're here, and the Algorand blockchain protocol had no outage, no downtime. That tech is still solid. The community is still solid. But this threatens to rip us apart. This borderless thing is divisive as all hell. You think that this is going to go over well? And then if they strong arm it through their massive bags that they have a voting power, you don't think that is going to, and that's, you know what that's going to do? That will, if it gets passed and everybody gets inflated, and it's going to make, that is going to break the community. That's when a lot of people, potentially people like me, might be like, you know what? This is all garbage. It's important, folks. It's important that you think clearly through this before we just force through a borderless capital recovery fund. I promised myself I was going to stay calm. So I'm going to calm down. But it's not easy to say this stuff. I know people aren't going to like it. Okay, sorry. Let me share this. Okay, what am I doing? Sorry. Share. John Mazzoni from NF Domains says, a recovery fund is not a good idea. One, those who took precautions are paying the dilution. Two, those who took advantage of the situation and sent algo to a clean wallet will be able to claim compensation. Three, sets a terrible precedent for future exploits. Eldar, a very, very committed community member and vocal supporter of Algorand. Point two is huge and extremely valid. What is there to stop anyone doing this and claiming their wallet has been hacked? Unless there is an possibility to somehow freeze stolen algo, I think it sets a dangerous precedent and expectations for the future. Conscious. I love the sentiment and willingness to help, but there's definitely no reason to rush this. We first need to diagnose the problem, track down all the funds, and see what can be recouped. You spelt that wrong, Conscious. Let's all get the facts before we do something drastic. FBI Los Angeles. Just kidding. They're here too. I wonder if they're watching. Hello, FBI. I am a father of three. I am innocent of anything. I'm just doing my best trying to call out the truth. Bunsen from Vestige. We don't know the figures. And by the way, Bunsen from Vestige, I shouldn't even say it jokingly. This guy is a longtime member of the community as well. He's built a very awesome platform with I don't know if he bootstrap. I don't know how much money he's gotten from the foundation. It doesn't matter. He is here. He's committed, and he's a definitely a good member of the Algorand community. We don't know the figures. We don't know the extent. We don't know whether Sexes froze funds. We don't have a technical plan on how to implement it. With all that in mind, you're proposing a proposal and a vote in 6 days' time? That's just not possible. Here's a better proposal and one that requires no voter centralization. How about you, Borderless, commit your algos to governance and distribute the rewards to those affected? This distribution to affected users can be in a form of vesting, if you will, over 2 or 3 government period. I don't think we should be seriously considering a foundation-funded relief effort until the investigation is completed. Trying to force it through on the soonest gov vote is also a bad idea. People are still emotional. Financial decisions shouldn't be made with emotion. Sorry, but a foundation-led recovery fund is anti-decentralization and sets a bad precedent that future hacks should all and will be covered by the foundation. There has to be some level of accountability for those who kept millions in hot wallets and those who ignored the warning. I mean, guys, come on. Okay, Oyster Pack. this would be a big mistake. Resources would be put better use to build robust automated security infrastructure, e.g. Well, this is another point. How about if we're going to take away governance rewards, why don't we put it into actually doing something that will make the community more robust? I would rather see all that money distributed amongst all of the retail people that actually would help grow Algorand. The main problem of governance is how weighted it is towards people like Borderless Capital. Are you guys mad at me in the comments? Let's look. Okay, Chris Winter might be missing something. What is it? I don't know. Why can't I go back? Okay, I for whatever reason, I can't see before. Oh, there was also this. Let me just look real quick. I want to see real quick. Sorry. Just hold tight 1 second, guys, while I look these two things up. Say this. I want to make sure it's true. Okay, I like that. Let me just look one more time and one more thing, and then I'm there. While I'm looking at this, I do want to make a point that I have no inside information. I am not talking to anybody. I haven't had any communication with anybody about any of this from Algorand Foundation. I don't even know. They might be looking at me like right now and being like, what is wrong with you? I don't have any idea what anybody is thinking. This is purely me. I barely have been keeping up with this since yesterday, because when I saw these things, I had to check out. All right. But I think about these things a lot. It's affecting my quality of life. Sorry. Oh, I thought that was fun. You know, I do feel bad for the victims and I want to help. I, however, have lost money the old fashioned way by reproducing and having an Algorand themed YouTube show. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. So the Algorand Foundation has not tweeted about this proposal. And Michelle Dada has, in fact, not tweeted about this proposal. Pablo Yabo has. Let's read that real quick. Pablo says, here is Borderless Caps proposes to make victims whole with a recovery fund. I think it is a great step forward to save the incredible Algorand ecosystem. Man. And Pablo doesn't tweet much. John Dadalgo nailed it. So, guys, I know that there is a very lively chat in here. To those of you watching that have asked me about having this chat be there for the recordings later in the day, I've looked into it and I do think I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do that. My impression is that it may show up a couple days later that needs to process. I could certainly see if that's true by looking at a couple days later, but oftentimes I do these and I don't want to look back. I get a little worked up sometimes. And if I watch it, I might be slightly embarrassed. So I'm going to read through this. Look, there's not much more I should say about this. I can only say this. Everything I am saying is everything, all of the things that I have talked about is all public knowledge. You can find the Borderless civil lawsuit. It's filed in Florida. You can find all of these things. Not everybody, but a lot of people are talking about this in the background. It's a thing that should not be spoken of. And I happen to just be speaking of it because at this point, I'm fighting for Algorand. And frankly, I see the Algorand Foundation being thrown under the bus. Not that like the Algorand Foundation handled this well, and we listened to the thing, but I can't imagine what they're going through. I don't know. I have no idea. And all of this stuff is just purely opinion. But I am fighting for survival of this. If you don't realize that if this thing isn't decentralized, if this thing has not in fact solved the trilemma like a genius claims, and we act in these seriously emotional, conflicted, entwined with the early VC of the whole entire ecosystem bailout fund, all it does is indicate we are centralized. In the worst possible time in cryptocurrency history to indicate that. It's something that I can't support. I think a community-led recovery fund for small accounts is the way to go. I want to do something for you guys that lost, and hopefully we can do something cool. Look, folks, Coops, if there's a V2, these things are donation vehicles that in the future could grow as I grow, if I gate things and whatever fun things I'm doing. So please, they're not financial instruments. They're not securities. They're not anything other than potentially a way to help victims and be fun for my community and have a vote and kind of create a NFT project together. And if a NFT artist or NFT artist team wants to collaborate with me, I would love, and I'm open to all types of conversations about what percentage they would like and then what percentage we would like to give to the victims. I would not be interested in a system where the NFT artist was not paid. I'm also not interested in an NFT artist that is unproven in the Algorand ecosystem, unless all of the NFT artists that are proven in the ecosystem aren't interested. All right. The point is to help real people that have nothing to do with whatever the hell this mess is. I think it bears repeating to everybody that's watching. Absolutely none of this is personal. I respect all of them. In fact, at AlgoFest, I'll just point out because I was slightly harsh towards Riley at GARD. And I just want to say at AlgoFest, I was blown away by her. I thought she put on such a great performance for GARD. I literally left AlgoFest thinking I'm going to use GARD in the future. I love that she was talking about the principles. She was pushing back against upgradable smart contracts. AlgoFi was sitting right next to her. She was breaking down some of the main principles of this thing. I DM'd her and I thought, wow, you did such a fantastic job. It just really, I'm going to be a bigger fan of GARD moving forward because of that, because of those principles. She spoke to what I believe. And I imagine that is what she believes because she said it. And right now she's heavily affected. And I won't speculate on anything else, but and potentially, obviously, folks, we also have to allow for the fact that she does believe that this is the only way that Algorand can be saved. So, okay. Governor's Hat says, I like to imagine that Copper Durnals isn't doing a show. He's just a maniac pumping himself up in front of the mirror before he starts the day. Well, governor's hat, for the last week, 2 weeks, it's felt exactly like that. Yesterday, I really ended on a over the top. I was like, after I pressed end stream, I was like, oh my God, you're getting too worked up about this stuff. So it does. It feels weird. I'm like here just talking. And I appreciate all of you that are tuning in and supporting the show. And I respect all of you that disagree with where I'm coming from on all this. And it's becoming difficult to stay strong to my convictions because it forces me to push back and create a situation where people have animosity towards me. And if anybody knew me in real life, you know that I have struggled my entire life with wanting to be liked. That's where all that humor comes from, folks. So it isn't this isn't personally easy. Certainly because I've met all of the people I've talked about and I genuinely like them. But there is a certain point I'm fighting for my reason to even be involved in this. That's why I care. I also care about the Algorand community we create. Their guys are fucking hilarious. This governor's hat, I don't even, he's come on my radar lately. Like these guys are funny, man. Thank you, Mr. Woody. Oh, he has a Joker coupe, which is really just a regular coupe. That's for sure, man. I will never sell my coupe V1. You got the Joker, man. That's so cool. Doesn't post in a month, comes back during a crisis, and now an NFT project. Doesn't post in a month, comes back during a crisis. Is this to me? I can't be towards me. Nobody in their right mind knows that I haven't been posting in a month. If you guys don't want me to do an NFT project where I give everything to victims, then I won't. If I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, Algo Gator, then I'm sorry. But if this is directed at me, it's ridiculous. Market Maker, I'll DM you later, Coop. I have an idea we can definitely work together on. Amazing, Market Maker. Thank you. Good morning, Algobama. All right, guys. Well, if you're just tuning in now, you can go back and you can watch it. I know not all of you are going to like it. And honestly, it's going to be hard for me to deal with that. But I'm going to keep going. This is week 3. I'm going to get stronger at this. I'm going to grow it. And, if you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to tune in, obviously. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Same time, same place.